And that's the news so far today. There'll be special coverage of the death of Princess Diana all afternoon on ITV. After local news programmes, we'll be back on air at 2:10. During the afternoon, we'll broadcast an hour-long profile of the Princess. And later tonight at 9 o'clock, there'll be a special ITN programme presented by Trevor McDonald. From now, goodbye.
It's a really unsettled spell of weather, no more so than today. With low pressure stuck firmly over the country, rain will never be too far away. Indeed, this morning's radar sequence shows some really wet weather splashing its way northwards and eastwards across the country. Most of it now hung up across northern and western parts, but elsewhere we can't rule out the odd heavy and quite thundery shower as well. Some brightness, especially in the south, and somewhat clearer conditions pushing into southwestern parts of England and Wales later on. Where the sun does come out for any length of time, especially in the east, it will be quite humid, up to 25 Celsius. But elsewhere, especially in the rainy areas, fairly cool at around 17 to 21. Quite a blustery wind too. This evening and overnight, most of the rain clearing away. Elsewhere, some clear spells and a blustery wind. Here's a summary.
Following the tragic news of the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, our programmes for the rest of the day will be subject to change. In a moment, we have a special edition of the Current Affairs programme for the young, Straight Up. Then at 2 o'clock, ITV regional news bulletins are followed at 2:10 by a special report from ITN. We've a further regional news update at 5:55. Then at 6:15, we'll be rejoining ITN for further news and reaction to today's events.
This is Meridian.
Hello, you join us live on Straight Up, the current affairs programme for young people, on a day when 2 young boys lost their mother. The death of Princess Diana leaves millions of other young people mourning the loss of their champion. She campaigned for the homeless, for AIDS sufferers and, more recently, victims of landmines. She was the brightest star of the royal family, the only one who had appeared to be in touch with young people. Nick Knowles is outside Buckingham Palace. He's been there for a few hours now. What's the feeling like up there, Nick?
It's an extraordinary scene here, a feeling that I've never experienced before. People upset, but very subdued at the same time. I think really not believing that it's happened, that there are flowers outside the palace there. And what struck me is the huge number of young people that have turned up today. Usually you associate the royals with middle-aged people and so on, and older people who tag on to the royals. But today it seems the young people have turned out in force to mourn Diana's death.
I think it is that the young people have turned out in such numbers. What have they told you?
Well, it's because they say that she was so popular with so many people in that age group. She championed so many causes. I mean, we can run through a few here. The Royal Marsden Hospital, the Red Cross, Lighthouse, which of course was the AIDS organisation, Turning Point, which was drugs rehabilitation, Centre Point, which was homelessness, Bernardo's, National AIDS Trust. This morning, we've been told that at Kensington Palace, a huge number of the gay community have turned out to lay flowers there, mourning the loss of the woman who first touched the hand publicly of an AIDS sufferer and said it was okay to have these people in the community and change young people's attitudes again. And she's done that in so many areas, with fashion, with music, and I think that's why the people have turned out here today. And they've turned out from all over the country. Let me introduce you to one or two of them. James Walker, you've come down from Hertfordshire.
That's right, yes.
Why have you decided to come along?
Well, I heard the radio report at 10 o'clock, switched on to telly, and then I was in a position to be able to come down today, and so I got in my car and drove down to Regent Street and on the tube, and here I am.
What is the feeling amongst the people here? How do you feel now today?
Well, I was shocked when I first woke up this morning to get the information. I actually didn't believe it at all, and around here it's just so many people just walking around not sure exactly what to think or do by the looks of it.
It's almost as if they believe it hasn't happened, isn't it?
That's right. I think it's a big shock, and it's going to take a lot for it to sink into a lot of people. It's going to take a bit for me, isn't it?
All right, well, thank you. Let me also introduce you to Michelle and Steve Marsh. Now, you've come along from Kent today, haven't you? What was it you think about Princess Diana that so caught the young people's imagination as opposed to the rest of the royals?
She was wonderful. Everybody, as far as I know, looked up to that lady, and she was very, very precious to this country, and I know to a lot of other countries too.
She was highly respected all over the world, and it's just such a great loss to everybody.
It's really upsetting. You're obviously struggling to keep going here, but it's almost a personal thing. Like you feel you've lost a friend.
Yeah, basically, yes. Yes, I do. I wished I'd met the lady.
Yeah, well, so I think that's the feeling here too. It's what did you think you could do by coming here, or was it just a gesture?
We just felt we had to be here. We brought some flowers up. We just thought we'd come up for the day, and just felt poignant. We woke up this morning with shock news, and I don't know, just we're drawn here really.
It is extraordinary here. The feeling, as I said, it's not something I felt before. It's almost as if they believe that it hasn't happened, and somehow there'll be an announcement to say that it's not true. Of course, we know it is true, and the sun's shining here today, but it's a very dark mood around the palace, and we'll have more for you from here a bit later on.
Thanks, Nick. We'll be hearing more from Nick throughout the programme. Now, one of the first royal princesses Diana met after her engagement to Charles was Princess Grace of Monaco. Until Grace's untimely death in 1982, they were close friends, their lives remarkably similar. They were unique in their understanding of one another and the intense pressures under which they lived day to day. Princess Grace also lost her life in a car accident back in 1982. They both left behind teenage children for whom they lived. I've been looking back at the life and times of both women.